From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, it's TashaTalkz. I'm your girl, Tasha. Of course, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. Catch us daily on TLCTalkRadio.com, 24/7 edutainment. We have an incredible show lined up for you today, and you'll see that I am joined by a guest. And today we're going to be talking about Juneteenth. What's that? Well, if you don't know, stay tuned so that you can understand what it is we are celebrating as African Americans. Check the shirts. In studio with me today is our guest, Richard Brown. How are you?
Good afternoon, Tasha. I'm doing well. How are you?
No complaints. So, Richard is the proprietor and creator of Enlightened Melanation.
Indeed.
And so these shirts are everything, but it's not just that. It's a movement, right? Tell us.
It is.
Welcome to the show and tell us about Enlightened Melanation.
Well, thank you for having me. Enlightened Melanation came to mind back towards the end of last year. I was listening to ESPN on the radio, and Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman were going back and forth about something that had happened in the media. And excuse me, Max had said something that was pretty conscious or woke, if you will. And for the next couple of days, I kept hearing, Max is invited to the cookout. Max, come on to the cookout. Max is invited to the cookout. And initially, I thought about that. I said, you know what? We need to actually have a cookout.
Okay.
We need to have an event that would embody everything that the cookout represents. Food, family, togetherness, unity, celebrating blackness. Yeah. And I said, it should be on Juneteenth, because a lot of it is probably the most underobserved and underserved, date on the calendar, especially as it pertains to us as black people.
Sure.
And so while I was coming up with all these ideas, I said, you know what? Yeah, that'd be dope. Somebody should do that, because I would go to that. Yeah, I would do that. So I sat on it for a little while, and it just wouldn't leave me alone. It just stuck with me. It stuck with me. So finally, I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And now I don't know the first thing about event planning, but I do know a few people that do. Some really good friends, and everybody I talked to was like, I want to be a part of that. Let's do it. Yeah. So right when we got started, coronavirus dropped. And that
COVID-19 is a monster, because it has beat us up.
and it pretty much shut everything down. Sure. So in the process of planning for the cookout, I was thinking about merchandising and branding and whatnot, and got the idea to start my own, and have it be the official sponsor and brand of the cookout. And over the process of doing that, even though the cookout kind of got postponed. Sure.
Thanks a lot, COVID-19.
Yeah. But the idea of Enlightened Melanation was to put a positive spin on just everything that is being black in America. Yeah. From our history, our culture, our heritage. My tagline is Africa birthed us, America forged us, and our culture refined us.
Indeed. That's profound.
And so everything that we're working on with the line is designed to bring some awareness to different things that have been, for lack of a better word, hidden from us in our history. Yeah. For example, we're coming up, we just passed, the anniversary of the Tulsa race riots. Yes. Black Wall Street. Things like that we just were not told about.
Yeah, I don't think I found out about that until I was an adult, or at least maybe high school. But and I went to an all-black private grammar school. So you would have expected,
Well, I got bused to a white elementary school. I was part of that little social experiment in Chicago back in the late 70s, early 80s. And I know more about George Washington than I do George Washington Carver.
Sure.
You know, and it occurred to me as I was formulating Enlightened Melanation that there are a lot of us out there that don't really have the context of what it means to be black in America, where we come from, all our accomplishments, all our trials and tribulations, all the things that we've overcome.
Yeah.
You know, we hear about slavery and it was bad and it was horrible and this, that, and the other, but, you know, it's almost like we've been conditioned and taught to compartmentalize that, and you know, that was then, this is now kind of thing. And I think the lessons and the triumphs have been kind of lost to us in that we weren't really taught about it. You know, like for example, we were just talking about Tulsa. This was 1921. Which, if you kind of turn it around and look at it from another angle, 1921, which means this was a community that had been built and was up and running for maybe 20 years or so. So you're looking at barely a generation removed from slavery.
Sure.
Barely a generation removed from not being allowed to learn how to read and write. We had our own schools. So we are the teachers.
Yeah.
We had our own businesses. So we are business owners.
Sure.
We have our own hospitals, so we are the doctors. Barely a generation removed from slavery. And so, you know, I think that sort of context, you know, kind of gets lost. And yes, it was a horrible massacre. Yes, indeed. But when you look at the
triumphs,
exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that we have endured over time, you know, it's. I want to just bring kind of shed a different light on, you know, everything that we've done in this country, and not just talk about not just emphasize how horrible it was, but the resiliency and everything that we've been able to accomplish in spite of.
Yeah.
So that's basically the gist of it. Make it fashionable, make it look good, make you think a little bit.
I think it looks good.
And, I think so too. I think so too. These came out really nice. They're real comfortable. They look good, and you know, hopefully the people will agree.
Absolutely. So this is exciting, and I like, you know, I'm an educator in my other life, and so because I live 12 lives. Yeah. I'm a cat apparently. So what it is it's an exciting opportunity, like you said, to bring awareness without browbeating.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
As you said, making it fashionable. Like anything we do as a people, we take it and we make it funky.
We do. We do. And the world follows our lead on
they
that.
want our rhythm, but not our blues. Absolutely.
Very well said.
Absolutely.
Very
Absolutely. So what kinds of items are in this clothing line? I know that the cookout has been postponed again, thanks COVID-19, but it's coming. That just means the resilience that we always show will happen again when we're ready. Effect. Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of items are in the clothing line?
Well, right now we're starting off with, you know, right now we have T-shirts. From the beginning, you know, dealing with the pandemic and things being slowed down and some things even coming to a halt, you know, it's been a labor of love, but it's still been one of those things where it's like, if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out. So we've overcome some delays and some pitfalls and whatnot. But right now we're introducing shirts. Coming up very soon in the next couple weeks, we'll have tank tops, for the ladies, sports bras, leggings. For the guys, shirts and unisex hoodies, sweatpants, hats, and then towards the fall we'll be hopefully releasing a line of jerseys that's going to be pretty interesting.
I'm all about the jerseys. Who's the target audience, or is there a target audience?
Initially, our target audience is people of color. Period. African Americans. There are other people of color in the Americas that are not necessarily from in the United States right now, but our story transcends all boundaries, from North and South America to Europe, Asia, all over the place. We're just awesome like that. So initially, our target audience is African Americans, or people of color in America, I should say. But as again, like I said, with there having been so much history that was withheld from us, this has been an incredible learning experience for me as I'm getting into different facets of the different elements of history that we want to bring to light and present it in a fashionable way. So eventually we're going to span the whole globe. We're going to do some of everything. But right now with Juneteenth, obviously we're focusing on African Americans. Yeah, so people of color in America, and then the rest of the world will be next.
I'm with it. You told me when we chatted that it was really important to you to use Black-owned businesses exclusively. Why is that so important?
Yes. Well, being an African American and being a proprietor of a Black-owned business, I think that it is very important that we support each other. There are plenty of businesses out there owned by African Americans that kind of fly under the radar, and I've made it a point to try to not only use them, but do my part to get them as much exposure as I possibly can. Excuse me. I think it's one of those things where we have to do it for ourselves. We have to take it upon ourselves to cast that light and support each other. We don't have the media, the advertising, the marketing as some of these big name companies, but we're doing the same things. In some cases better. We definitely have more style and flair about it. So definitely. And in this industry, that's exactly what we want. So I think it's very important to not just say buy Black and support Black business, but to actually be about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like what you said at the top of the show. You had this idea and you said, yeah, somebody should do that. Somebody should do that. And then finally, it was kind of like God was like, hey, you should do that.
Exactly.
You're somebody.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing. Tell me about the the designing company you've been working with, Nikki's Next.
Nikki's Next. I was referred to her by yours truly, actually.
That's my friend Nikki.
She has been just above and beyond amazing. She's very creative. Some of her ideas. She's been able to take the concepts that I've come up with in my head and transfer it to shirts and to the apparel, and make everything just really pop. I mean, red, black, and green has never been this fashionable. I don't think. I think she's just been phenomenal. She's come up with some things that just had me kind of sit back and do that. Yeah, bring that. That's gonna be hot. So I'm so indebted to her, just so grateful, for her and her creativity, and she's been, she's just been behind it 100%. And I just can't say enough about her. I'm looking forward to the next phase after Juneteenth. It's going to be some really nice product coming out. So stay tuned. Be looking out for it. And
what do you envision phase 2 looking like?
I think.
And now, don't give away something that we should know yet, but.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll just say stay tuned.
Yeah, for now, just stay tuned. Just know that it's the plan is to make it just to be bigger and better with every season. Yeah. With every year.
So, what is it that you want to be the takeaway for the supporters of Enlightened Melanation?
I mostly, like I said, want to present our history and our heritage in a way that we can all be proud of, that will pique your curiosity and make you want to go back and say, okay, well, I wasn't taught this. Let me go find out what this is about. Sure. Kind of like how that sounds. What's that about? I mean, because we talk about, you hear a lot of younger people specifically saying, I'm not my ancestors. You can catch these hands.
Right.
And on the one hand, yeah, that's all well and good, but a lot of people did catch these hands back in the day.
So you really are your ancestors.
Yeah, yes. Well, I'm exactly like my ancestors. When you talk about Nat Turner and the Louisiana revolt back in 1811 and the Haitian Revolution, which resulted in their independence. A lot of people caught these hands. And
some bullets too.
Some bullets and some whips and
whatever
and all kind of So, and like we said earlier, coming up in school, these are things we weren't taught. I had no idea who Nat Turner was. I used to always wonder remember X-Clan, remember the group X-Clan? Professor X, the overseer, used to always say, with a Nat Turner lick. And I'd be like, what does that mean?
Right.
No, he's talking about Nat Turner. Okay, who was Nat Turner?
Right.
Oh. Yeah.
The conscious rapper is missed.
Yeah, most definitely. So, so just to bring a little more awareness and to encourage all of us, young and old, because I'm almost 50, and there's still just so much that I'm learning. It's like, wow, I wish I had known this. Coming up, I wish I had known this side of my history. Coming up. So just to encourage, to paint us in that positive light that we need to be painted in, because only we can do it for ourselves. We've been vilified, for centuries since we got here. So it's just time for us to take control of that narrative and show the world just how beautiful Black is.
That's excellent. I love it. How can people support the business and order merchandise?
Well, right now we have a website set up, redblackgreen.net. You can go there and order T-shirts for now. Other products will be being added, as I said before, in the coming weeks. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have the full line up and running, and it can be a red, black, green summer.
I love it, because that's who we are.
Indeed.
It's who we are, and that's where we come from. Tell us a little bit about Richard Brown.
Don't nobody want to know about me.
Yes, they do. Look at this mind that came up with this idea and was savvy enough to follow direction, because clearly you were being directed to do this, right? So tell us about you. Don't nobody care that you don't want to talk about you. You're gonna.
Since you're gonna make me.
It's TashaTalkz.
So right. So Tasha should be talking. Anyway,
I'm talking to Richard.
Where do I start? I'm the oldest of four. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago, West Inglewood.
Yes.
Went to to Lynn Bloom Tech.
Of course you did.
Class of 1988, swoop.
All right.
Went to an HBCU, Jackson State University.
Very nice.
My parents were educators. My mother in music, my dad in physical ed. I'm half Bahamian. My dad was a first generation American-born Bahamian from Miami. And that's another thing about my history. I didn't really understand the context of, having that side of that much,
sure,
that part of my heritage coming from the Caribbean. So I'm having a lot of fun learning about that.
That's excellent.
What else? I have a grown daughter. She'll be 23 this year. My one and only. She just got her degree from University of Illinois.
Excellent.
And she wants to go back to Taiwan. She was in Taiwan last year doing an internship and a study abroad, and now she wants to go back. And I'm not really feeling that, but I'm the one that told her, go do everything, see everything, do what you want to do. So
she followed your direction.
I can only blame myself for that, I guess. But she's happy, so we'll take it.
I like what you said, that you're having fun learning about the Caribbean part of your ancestry. What have you learned that's exciting?
Oh, man. The Bahamas gained their independence from Britain the year I was born.
Wow.
1971. And my grandparents came over in the early 40s. And as far as, coming from my dad, I didn't really learn a whole lot about that from him. Most of his experience, he talked about coming up in growing up in Miami, and then he and my mother met at Kentucky State.
Okay.
At HBCU, and then came to Chicago from there. But as far as what I've been learning, I'm still kind of in the process. I've met some of my family members.
Nice.
But not nearly enough. It's been a little difficult. Trying to get back down there and connect and really not just learning about the country, but learn about my people.
Sure.
Down there. So, but again, like I said, it's been a labor of love. I'm looking forward to incorporating more of that into phase 2.
Yeah.
So
that's dope.
Yeah. So just learning about all of that has just been, it's and I was never really a big history buff. I used to not really care too much about history, but maybe it was because they weren't teaching anything about me. So
yeah, that makes sense. It may have been boring. There was no way for you to make a connection.
Yeah, I think that, because now I'm all about it.
Yeah, because in education, you have to make a connection somehow to get. I mean, I tell my students, look, sometimes it's just gonna be boring. Okay, get over it. Right. If I can find a way to make a connection, or if they can find a way to make a connection, because we're all teaching and learning, then we do that. So I think that may very well have been it. That's really cool. I'm really excited about what you're doing. Richard Brown, proprietor of Enlightened Melanation. Tell us one more time where we can access the apparel, and when the time comes, get more information about the cookout.
The site is redblackgreen.net, and as far as the cookout, we are trying to figure out. I mean, it's kind of hard to see a year out with this pandemic being what it is, but
everything will be on that site.
Yes. Everything pertinent will be on that site.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us. This is your girl Tasha. This has been TLC Talk Radio's TashaTalkz. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, catch us daily on TLCTalkRadio.com 24/7 edutainment. We'll catch you next week.